Hey everyone, my name is David Dunbar, or the Theme Park Evangelist. So, one of the videos I haven't done in a long time is an awesome discussion topic, specifically the rise and fall ones of like Disney or Universal. Um, what happened to it, kind of some YouTube videos. So, the next one I would like to discuss with you guys is the rise and fall of the Backlot Tour. What happened to it? Well, I kind of already discussed it in the Streets of America one, but now we're going to go a little bit deeper and we're going to talk a little bit more about the Backlot Tour, which I pretty much already discussed a lot of that when I talked about Streets of America, which of course I already covered, like that whole entire area, and I covered the Backlot Tour, and I covered all about Residential Street, the whole 9 yards. I discussed why that's all gone. So we're not going to get back into any of that today. We're instead going to just talk about the Backlot Tour in itself and basically what the ride was. I mean, I discussed a lot of that already in that Streets of America vlog, but this time I really just want to talk to you guys about the Backlot Tour and anything I may not have already talked about. And afterwards, I'm going to talk to you guys more about upcoming vlogs as well as upcoming events, blah, blah, blah. So, let's get into it. So, for those of you who do not know, the Backlot Tour was a really cool tram ride that opened with Disney's Hollywood Studios back in 1989. Originally, back then, Disney's Hollywood Studios was known as Disney's MGM Studios. And yes, at one point, the Backlot Tour did go all the way down the Streets of America, and they did discuss a lot of the stuff that they did film down there, like, oh my word, I do not remember the name of that. Oh yeah, Ace Ventura was one of the movies that was filmed in that area. They also took you through Residential Street, which is basically the closest thing you have to a movie prop area, which is the exterior of a fake house. So these were not real houses; these were exteriors of what was supposed to be a real house, and they would take you down there. And a lot of famous movies were filmed on something like that, if that makes any sense. But we're going to go more deeper than that. So, Backlot Tour, for as long as I can remember, would always start you in this one area where they would show you all kinds of movies that the director of Armageddon, Titanic, all that fun stuff, all the kind of movies that he was responsible for. And they showed you like different clips that took place from all those different movies. I'm so sorry. I mean, I could Google search it, but I don't remember his name off the top of my head. So that was pretty much the gist of that portion. And then they would go around the very front and start asking who would like to volunteer for the next part, which you're about to go see, which is a thing called Harbor Attack. This is basically a section that's dedicated to the movie Pearl Harbor, which is done by the same exact guy, believe it or not. So they would start out with the front, and they would work their way towards the back, asking if anybody would like to volunteer. I'm not going to get into that part until we get to the next scene. So they would, as soon as they would find their volunteers, they would take them backstage. Well, I'll get into that in a minute because I was actually in that long time ago before we actually had a nice camera. And my brother did get pictures of me doing it with an old camera, but unfortunately we didn't get them off the camera. Trust me, if we could do it now, I would show you everything. But I don't. And unfortunately, I didn't get a nice camera until afterwards, and I never got that opportunity again, but at least I can tell you guys the story behind it. So, but first, before I tell you what it's like to be in the thing, I'm going to tell you guys what it's about. So, they recreated a couple of scenes from the movie. So, the very first scene was the guy that's in a ship. He has 800 gallons of water dumped on him. So you get to see how they do that. And then they show you how there's three people that were on the ship and how they get attacked by planes. And I thought that was really cool how they did that. So they added on digital like planes and stuff like that onto overhead monitors that you can see from the audience. And just for the fun of it, I will add on the YouTube video from that right here in the top right hand corner so you can actually go back and see that for yourself. And then they also had like cut out props, like so to speak, like they had a little outhouse to make it look like the captain was actually in his boat. And then they also had what looked like an actual aircraft carrier. They also had secret hidden cameras that were put throughout the entire set. And then when you combine the live footage with the digital like add-ons, like so to speak, like there was like how I mentioned before, there was the digital submarine, the digital planes, and you combine the two together, you can get a little mini film. It's kind of cool. And it makes it look like it was all happening right then and there. And what also impressed me the most was the guys who were out there with the volunteers. They knew exactly where to stand without being hit by the water, which impressed me so much. It was 45 minutes basically of killer time, but it was still cool. And this was just the beginning of your 45-minute journey. So as far as what was my experience like, so I was by myself. I didn't have a group or anything, and my brother didn't want to do it. He was a lot younger, and I'm like, I'll do it. And I was old enough to do it, so I volunteered to be the captain that was in the little outhouse that has 800 gallons of water dumped all over me. And even though I really didn't mind, I have to make it look like I'm like freaking out about that. So I showed everybody, oh no, I'm scared. Like, even though in reality I was like, yes, that kind of thing. So yes, I got to act again, so that was kind of cool. And they put me in a heavy duty raincoat, and I was the very first one up. So they put me in this outhouse, and they told me all I have to do is pick up this prop phone, which of course there's nobody on the phone, and I have to make it look like I'm talking to somebody, and I'm like, well, I'm really good about that. And all I'm doing is just sitting here pretending to be on the phone, just waiting for 800 gallons of water to dump all over me. It really wasn't all that bad as much as I thought it would be. I'm also wearing heavy duty boots, by the way. And before I knew it, I had 800 gallons of water dumped all over me. It would surprise me a little bit, but not too much. It's not like I hadn't seen the show a gazillion times. And I have to admit, my shock was, or my expression was a bit of shock as well as laughter, because I thoroughly enjoyed it, as well as like, oh, this is what it's like to have 800 gallons of water dumped all over you. But it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. And I thoroughly enjoyed that. I got a round of applause. And it looked so good when the final project was all done. It really looked like I was on the phone. I really acted it out very well. And I mean, if I had gone back to do it today, I would have used hand gestures the whole 9 yards, but whatever. And then I got to stand off to the side and I got to watch the other guys do it. And of course, I never even got wet, maybe a tiny bit, but I really don't remember getting wet at all. And then I got to continue on just like everybody else. And then we went through the prop warehouse. So they have like this warehouse where they have all kinds of different props. They also have something like that over by where my brother and I used to eat our lunches a lot, Studio Catering Company. My brother and I used to pack our lunch a lot of the time. And when we would go to Hollywood Studios, we would just go and eat our lunch over there. I kid you not, this is how much I love my brother, just so you guys can hear this. One time, my brother and I went to Hollywood Studios, and my brother said he really wanted a Coke. I waited 30 minutes in a line at Studio Catering Company just to get my brother a Coke. That's just how much I love him. That's just one example. And my brother's like, you didn't have to do it. I said, I know I didn't, but I wanted to. So, anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out there. So then you would finally get to the tram. And these are not your ordinary trams. So, the door would open and close like this. So, it opens like this. And then it closes like this. The Disney World trams originally did not have any doors, but they opened like a normal door. So you have your door handle, and you would just pull it open like this, and you would swing it open like that. And then to close it, you just pull it closed like that. And then you just kind of jiggle the handle a little bit, make sure that the door was closed. And they added those on like years ago. But I do remember back in the day when the Disney World trams did not have doors, as hard to believe as that is. Anyway, so then you would get on this tram. Now, these trams did not move quickly like the Disney World trams. These trams would move a lot slower. They would take you through their costume making facility. They would also take you through some of their other buildings where a lot of the behind the scenes movie magic was done. And then eventually they take you over to Catastrophe Canyon, which I can show you the link to that right here as well. Excuse me, it's best to show you than to explain it to you. But all I can tell you is it's basically a set that they would have used for a natural disaster kind of set. And another one that I would best explain as a natural disaster set would be Earthquake at Universal, which eventually became Disaster, which is now the Fast and the Furious Supercharged. And just for the fun of it, I'll throw that on there as well. And you can see the link to Earthquake up here, and then I will immediately follow that up by Disaster right here as well. So if you ever want to go back and see what Earthquake and Disaster are, you can see those right there as well. Also, at the very end, I will include all of those videos just for the fun of it. All the videos I've mentioned throughout the entire thing. And then it would make its way back to the station. So that is a ride that I thoroughly enjoyed for years. But you already know why they got rid of that, because it's all part explained in my what the Rise and Fall of Streets of America, what happened to it. Disney World just felt like it was one of those rides that was too old, outdated, that pertained or correlated too much to the old Disney's MGM studios. and Disney was just more interested in staying modern, and Disney World was just so hyped about the expansion of Toy Story Land, and they knew that the Backlot Tour took up a lot of the space that is now Toy Story Land versus Streets of America was half Galaxy's Edge and half Toy Story Land versus the whole Backlot Tour is actually all Toy Story Land. It's hard to believe as that is. So the next time you happen to go to Toy Story Land and you're in line or on Slinky Dog Dash just for the fun of it, since that's the most popular ride at Toy Story Land, just think about this. That was all originally Backlot Tour. I know it's hard for me to believe that too sometimes, but yeah, it is. It was. And I can guarantee you that Toy Story Land probably could be expanded further, like further back, because I'm very sure if I were to look at a current map of Disney's Hollywood Studios and see where Toy Story Land is, and compare that to an old map of, I feel like I did. But then again, I'm trying to figure out where that light's coming from. Sorry. Anyway, if I were to compare that to an old map of Hollywood Studios, I feel like Catastrophe Canyon was went further, was like way in the back corner versus Toy Story Land probably only takes up a small portion of the Backlot Tour. But at the same time, without looking at an old map and a current map, like side by side comparison, it's hard to say. So I might have to do that. As far as announcements, so just really quick. This Friday is the day that I'm going to Kings Island to celebrate their 50th anniversary. How I plan on YouTubing that one, well, I guess I'll leave that as a surprise. So I'm sure you guys are going to be looking forward to seeing that one. I'm going to film it on Friday, but I'm not necessarily going to have it uploaded until Saturday or Sunday. We'll see. Probably Saturday because I'm going in later that day, so I'm going to definitely do my best to have it uploaded by that night because I'm planning on editing it and then uploading it because I want to do some really cool edits to it to give it that vintage feel, even if I can figure out somehow to make it look, really old and all that fun stuff at the beginning, that would be really neat. But as I said, I'm going to surprise you guys when the time comes. Also, don't forget that 2 weeks, no, not 2 weeks, but 3 weeks from Friday, I'm going to be leaving for Canada. So, really looking forward to that as well. Also, this summer is when the carousel opens at the Ark Encounter. So, Lord willing, I'll be able to go to the Ark Encounter this summer and go show you guys what that looks like. And my next day off after this Friday is the following Friday, which is the day that the Doctor Strange movie comes out. Now, I don't have anything planned until that evening, or that night, and I don't have, I'm probably not going to be able to pick up another shift, so who knows, I may go to the Creation Museum that day, we'll see, but I'm definitely sleeping in that day. I may or may not go to Kings Island that day, we'll see, it depends on my mood, but this Friday for sure, I'm going to go. And then, of course, I'm doing some opening and closing this week, and then opening to close this week. But I'll do my best to do some YouTubing this week. But Friday for sure is the big one. Friday I'm super stoked about for sure. I know a lot of my friends have already gone to Kings Island, but I decided to be patient and wait. Because good things come to those who wait. And you already know that I'm going to do my best to do some YouTubing while up in Canada. I'm going to more than likely go to Niagara Falls while I'm there, even if I don't get a chance to necessarily YouTube it, which I don't see why I can get away with sneaking in some footage of it. I'm going to definitely take pictures of it because I'm never going to miss an opportunity to take pictures of it. I mean, my word, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. It's one of the 7 greatest wonders of the world. But I'm not even 100% sure what I'm going to be doing in Niagara Falls area other than seeing my grandmother, so I guess we'll see what happens. And as hard to believe as this is, but a month from Wednesday, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind officially opens. My car turns 6 years old. Pandora World of Avatar turns 5 years old, and then and then as far as, let's see here, today is the 24th, so a month from tomorrow, Volcano Bay at Universal Orlando Resort turns 5 years old, so there's a lot going on next month, I guess. And then as far as June goes, my brother turns 25 on June the 10th. My cousins celebrate their fifth wedding anniversary. Also, Tristan turns 25 2 days after my brother. And then back to June 10th again. My car will be officially paid off. So, another big day for me. So, I finished paying off my car 2 weeks after my car turned 6 years old. I guess that makes sense. Because I signed a 6-year contract. It's like my car turned 6 years old, and 2 weeks later I'm going to finish paying it off. So, yay! That'll be exciting. And, Lord willing, I'll get a chance to go to the Cincinnati Zoo. That's another thought. For May the 6th, I could go to the Cincinnati Zoo and do some vlogging that day. I'll definitely have to keep that into consideration for sure. It is starting to get warm again, but I also just found out there's another cold front coming here, which is not a surprise. But yeah, the crowds at the Ark Encounter have definitely picked up for sure, big time since last year, and every year it seems to improve again compared to where we were 2 years ago. I am very, very, very thankful about that. But until then, I will see you guys in the next vlog. And always remember, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Have a great day. Peace out.